Blazing right along, folks. So we're moving into North America, and the ley lines as a zodiacal uh, ref- center point in North America. I did some research and I found this little symbol here, which means a lot to a lot of people. Some people will be more upset than others. Uh, but those little energy points at the end of every star are highly geomantically significant. You know, you'll see Seneca Falls, you'll see Washington as in the dead center. We all know the significance of that pentagon. And here we see Kentucky as a center point, a very significant center point. So I chose to put Kentucky in the center of my zodiacal reference and lay out the tarot and what some of the names of some of the surrounding states and some of the symbols of the states and even countries around Kentucky. And one thing that I began to ponder was, in what ways is Kentucky the center of the center key? Is Kentucky the center key? Can't you see Kentucky is the center key, which is very much the Centaur's key. The Centaur is Sagittarius. And look at the arrow pointing to the Centaur. You know, the sagittal line on the skull is a line that reaches from the far south to the far north in the hemispheres of the skull. It goes right down the middle of your skull. So sagittal, Sagittarius, you know, it's your center point. It's pointing at the center. And we mentioned before, you know, that's the Magi card. So if Kentucky is the center, then Sagittarius, just south of that center point, that's Georgia, GG. The Georgia Guidestones, that's GGG. Georgia Guidestones, 777. And definitely some Magi magic going on. That's the new Hollywood. They moved Hollywood to Georgia, where the Guidestones are. And that was a key state for the elections, as we all know. There was some mumbo jumbo circulating in that location. So I'm not sure where to start. Let's just kind of go with, like we did before, we'll start with the Virginia. If this is Kentucky, this is Virginia. This line here is not really the equator. It actually is the 33 degree north line. We are kind of dealing with a Tropic of Cancer line, but for the context of North America, that is the center line, dividing the Georgia, the Virginia, from the Carolinas. And look at that, Cairo lion. The Carolinas, North and South Carolina, their tarot card would be the Wheel of Fortune, the Cairo lion, the Sphinx, the Lion of Cairo, Carolinas. Down here we have Florida in Scorpio, where the hanging chads were, the betrayal. Also where a building collapsed recently. Also where an entire slew of Florida man memes are deeply embedded in what I believe is a castration ritual. I believe that Florida is much the phallus, the hanging chad of the country, and again goes back to the hanging man. The hangman card is a Scorpio card. And, you know, we're talking about impotence. You know, that's where elderly people go. I'm not going to go too far on that, but I think you guys know what I'm getting at. The death card, that's where people go to retire for their end of their days. All in Florida. You know, that's the Flower-rida. The Flower-rida. It's the death card, y'all. This is not coincidence. Moving across the Mississippi River, that's Isis, Ippi. We're dealing with the High Priestess. High Priestess, Mississippi. We're going across another two towers, a division line, and she has the two towers of Solomon's Temple behind her. So across the Mississippi, We get New Orleans, where there's a lot of voodoo, a lot of Capricorn energy, you know, that Mississippi Delta spills out into the water. That's the bottom of the country. That's the bottom of the zodiac, the bottom of the tarot card. Katrina, you know, sacrificial goat. Big time. Moving across into Aquarius, you know, that reminded me of the word Arkansas, just a little bit, you know. But there's Texas, the star state. Their symbol is the star, you know, and there's the tower card as well. And we all know that Arkansas had a bombing where a building was destroyed in Arkansas. So there's the tower card. There's Texas, the Lone Star State, the Lone Star State. That is in Aquarius if Kentucky were your center point. You know, then we're into Pisces, which is a water sign. That goes into Hawaii, as we mentioned before. That goes off into the ocean. And then just above that is Aries. And Aries is California. The Khalifa is the Empress. She is decked out in gold. And just, you know, for cultural sensitivity's sake, the Khalifa is not white. Khalifa would be African. This goes back to some very old world culture that is not nearly as white as this tarot deck lays out. It's much more multicultural, much more colorful. But the Khalifa was a black queen, and she was known for wearing gold. Oro. Gold. So that's California in the Aries. And here we have, you know, the Emperor up above that. And Oregon. Oro is sun. Oregon. Here we're dealing with, this will be Taurus. Toro. The sign of Taurus. And this is the edge where the sun falls off the edge, going that direction, the direction that horse is going. Oregon is where in the summer, where the sun goes down. So moving across to Gemini, you know, Michigan, I was thinking about this. You can take the M from Gemini, put it in the front, and if you use the G twice, you could almost get the word Michigan phonetically out of the word Gemini. You would need two G's, and you'd have to be very liberal with your phonetic vowels. So Canada is up north. Due north of Kentucky is Canada. That's Cancer. Ain't that something? Cancer. Also, you know, I always think of Canada as meaning con nada, with nothing. There's not much up there. It was uncharted territory for a long time in the early Americas. And also they didn't want people to go up there. So moving on to New York, you know, the York Rite, the city of New Rome. That's Leo. Going back to that Rome, back over in the world, you know, Italian, that's Rome. This is Rome. And New York was New Rome in its original naming. And that is definitely the Leo card. It leads with Wall Street, you know, that's the financial hub, the power, the potency of the country. So, sorry about the shaky hands, but had to move this one in for some closer looks, and I hope folks are digging what I'm laying down, because I'm pretty sure a lot of these signs and symbols have a lot to do with the names of these locations. Much love, y'all. Strength.